There's so much we can talk about, but I picked out 5 very interesting details that you may have missed. These details may not only enhance the way you play, but also your appreciation of some of the features that are coming within Monster Hunter Wilds. First up, you can swim in Monster Hunter Wilds. And while swimming, you'll be able to explore the environment and even be able to scrounge up some materials or items from within the depths of the water. Sadly, for the 5 Monster Hunter veterans out there who enjoyed underwater combat, me included, from previous installments of Monster Hunter, the devs have confirmed and apologized that there will not be any underwater combat in Monster Hunter Wilds. But to make up for that, they went all in on the emphasis on adventure and exploration, and this is number 2. The explorable zones within Monster Hunter Wilds is increased in size, density, and importance in terms of the monster hunting loop. So much so that while hunting, you can go to a town within that same explorable map to make armor, and then come back out to fight some more. And speaking of venturing out into the wilds, depending on the explorable zone, we'll be able to set up a limited amount of pop-up camps that we can teleport to, eat food at, change our equipment, and rest at. And we can choose where to place it, with the game letting us know how dangerous the zone is, because the camps can be destroyed by monsters even while you were in it.
Let's go! Break it! Break it!
There you go, we're absolutely safe right here.
In previous Monster Hunter games, usually your camp is your safe haven, and at least for the pop-up camps, that is no longer the case. The pop-up camps, I think, are very nice because it lets you choose where you want to place your quick travel points. If you need to farm something or gather certain materials, well, you can create your own routes and make it so much easier for yourself to get those materials. With the increased agency in terms of making your own camps and also having everything be within the explorable zone, the way cooking and food buffs work has also changed. While you'll still be able to eat in towns, you can also create quick meals for yourself using ingredients that you prepared or you found within the wilds to give yourself health and stamina increases, as well as food buffs as seen in previous iterations of Monster Hunter games. And with the footage that we have so far, there seems to be a return in temperature-based buffs, so things like hot drinks and cold drinks are infused into foods, which, for me at least as a Monster Hunter boomer, is something I like to see. The environment has always been a big part to the immersion of Monster Hunter, and I'm glad that's making a return, since they were absent from the most recent Monster Hunter release in Monster Hunter Rise. I get that it can be annoying to some of the more action-focused people who love this game, but in terms of the hunter fantasy, it is very important to give the players the need for prep time, for them to consider the environment they're hunting in and the monster that they're going to be facing. In Worlds and in Wilds, we're going to be able to use their environments to our advantage as we hunt. That is a no-brainer. We've already seen some footage for it, but it seems based on the 2 apex monsters that we've seen so far, that being the raydoll and the lala barina, when you chase them into their domain, their true powers are unlocked as the environment that they are nesting in will increase and augment their attacks, movesets, and overall power. Not that something like this hasn't been seen before in Monster Hunter, it just seems to be a lot more drastic now and maybe even more common. This is something I'm really excited about, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot more about it as we approach launch of the game. Alright, that was a lot. Detail number 3, gender-locked armor is no longer a thing. Traditionally, armor design in Monster Hunter had a male and female variant. Now, you can wear whatever variant you want, regardless of gender, allowing you to mix and match to your heart's content. And there has been news that the layered armor system returns in Monster Hunter Wilds. It won't be unlocked right out the gate, but it won't take too long for you to be able to get to play the true endgame of any Monster Hunter game, that is Fashion Hunters. If you're having a good time so far, hit that like button, support your boy. And if you're interested in more Monster Hunter Wilds news as we approach the launch of the game, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. 4th detail, solo hunters and offline hunters rejoice as the hunter support system is back from Monster Hunter Rise, but more polished this time. You can call in aid mid-hunt from NPC support hunters for up to a party of 4, whether you're alone or playing with others. Within a dev livestream at Gamescom, they did confirm that if you wanted more palicos within this NPC hunting party, you can do that. You're not limited to just NPC hunters, but also the palicos of the hunters, and you can choose to bring them exclusively instead of just the hunters. Just a small detail if you're a crazy cat person, and why wouldn't you do that? Because you can pet the palicos in this game. The other NPC hunters will also be roaming around the world as you're exploring it, which is another nice detail. And as we approach the game, we'll probably see more support hunters being highlighted in trailers. The one that we saw in the latest trailer is Olivia, a hammer user, and her palico, the badass Athos, wielding a sword. I also wonder if we'll see people that we trade guild cards with as these support hunters roaming the lands, and then being able to summon them as your NPC companions. That'd be kinda cool. And lastly, the expanded combat options coming with Monster Hunter Wilds. From the new focus mode to being able to pick up barrel bombs that have already been placed to the return of the mantle and the slinger from Monster Hunter Worlds, the ways that you're going to be able to interact with the environment and the monsters is going to be greatly expanded. Before I dive into the meat of detail number 5, I did want to bring mention to the focus mode being that aiming reticle that pops up and you're going to be able to swing and defend more easily. This might take a little bit away from the Monster Hunter feel of risk reward, but also for new players it might feel a little bit more intuitive, so give and take. With that said though, I am curious about your opinions. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the focus mode of Monster Hunter Wilds. Do you like it? Do you have some apprehensions about it? I want to hear it. Alright, what I actually wanted to talk about with number 5 is that throughout all of the new movesets that have been shown through all the weapon classes of Monster Hunter Wilds, I noticed quite a few similarities with what they've been adding, and that is increased defensive options that give you more opportunities to unleash damage onto your foes. In previous iterations of Monster Hunters, certain weapons like charge blades and longswords will have some kind of parry mechanic, which gives them opportunities to lay down the hurt without getting hurt themselves. While some of the other weapons are kind of left to position better or just evade normally and then pick your spots to do damage. Not that that's a bad thing, but there is a little bit of privilege on the other side of the fence. Now, with this iteration of the game, it seems like a lot more weapons have ways to have the same sort of power guarding or parrying as the aforementioned charge blades or longswords. For example, dual blades and bows have a perfect dodging ability. With the dual swords, you get put in an empowered state with new moves and new attack access, and you also have an evade attack that deal damage as you're dodging, similar to Monster Hunter Rise. The bow also gets a perfect evade, but for them, they get less stamina usage, faster recovery, and more iframes. On the defensive side of things, great swords, sword and shield, lances and gun lances, and the heavy bowgun get to use 2 new types of guards, the power guard, which if timed right, mitigates all damage, and the power clash, which when done right, gets you massive damage and staggers the enemy as seen on screen. Whether there's a threshold in terms of the number of power guards you have to do before you get a power clash, or if it's just a timing difference, that remains to be seen. However, it seems like these defensive mechanics are looking to even the playing field amongst all the weapon types, which is good to see. And there you have it, 5 fun, interesting details that caught my eye that you may have missed. If there are any details that you thought were interesting that I didn't cover in this video, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, my name is Varsana, and I'll see you in the next video.